13 years ago, and one was earlier than that. So you can find those. And so were they actually 30, 60 days away? Were they threats? Probably. They've been a threat. They've been considered a threat for as long as there were talks about, in a sense, that Iran was developing any weapon. How close were they? I don't know. But they took that preemptive action for that reason. And now we're in it.
They've been saying that they're so close to having a nuke for the last 30 years.
I think that's his point, but I thought it's also a point. It's the point of somebody in the audience. I'm not going to reveal their name, but we're now in it, like it or not. This other person point was like, be sure you mark whose fault it is. But I mean, it was a legit point. We're getting involved into a state-to-state actor attack. I'm glad you're so clear-eyed about all this stuff. It is hard to have a conversation when people, not to say that you shouldn't let the moral intervene, but when the moral can be discussed in a clinical fashion. That seems to me to really help deal with different nations' national interests. It seems to help to deal with the topic. Being clinical seems to be, I don't know, probably the preferred practical way to look at things. It is very interesting to hear you.
Conversations like this are my...
No. You're good. Actually, Lodi, I was about to go to you. I was going to say, I'm tumbling down the, rabbit hole, so I don't need to do that. Please, should we have gone to Congress, despite the fact that the War Powers Act gave the president the authority to do what he did in the first place?
Yeah, that's a tough question. First, I just want to say, I would agree about trying to be as clinical as possible when it comes to, how emotional this topic can get. But I would say that, a wise individual would be, smart to try not to, emotionally, sanitize this conversation either.
Yeah,
because
that's why I asked Othar the question that begged about genocide.
Right.
Again, this room is the explicitly pro-Israeli room. The moderator let me in charge. Both of them are Jews. They definitely support the state of Israel. They definitely support the right to attack. But since we're having a more honest conversation, I felt the need to ask the honest question.
For sure.
It begs for academics, not for nearly anything else. I went to school for history. I was trained that you're supposed to ask the questions, even the uncomfortable ones. I had a conversation earlier today. It reminded me it was my job to ask some of the uncomfortable questions, even when I didn't want to.
Yeah, I think on the question of it being a genocide to begin with, when you have Holocaust survivors coming out in mass, basically affirming that it is, I'm going to believe the people that were victims of genocide in the past, typically. But on the question of if they should have gone to Congress, I
didn't mean to necessarily focus it on that. It was more in the moment of Laura and I were having that kind of question. Really, what I want to focus it on, since this is a more U.S.-centered room, is should we have gone to Congress for a different authorization of force? The War Powers Act, under, quote, imminent threat, gives the executive the authority to do it. There's also a view that the executive has the authority outside the War Powers Act, which I've heard.
Would be nice.
The reason I'm asking the question, as you said, Lodi, is a difficult one. And I'm asking the question because it's a difficult one. Because I don't have I think we should have gone to Congress. But could I have forced that on other people? No. But I'm 34. The executive got a whole hell of a lot more powerful in my lifetime, and particularly with the Patriot Act. And I think the executive as a whole needs to be less powerful. There was a memo for press conference put out by Schumer, Coons, and a couple of other folks. And I questioned their validity for political reasons. And I felt like as a political actor. Like there's a question there in quote politics, but it occurred to me: don't look a gift horse in the mouth. They're saying they want to rein in on the executive. They're saying it because it's the opposite dude. It's not their guy. They want to rein in the executive. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Take them for what they are. Rein in the executive.
Okay.
No, Mr. President, the authorization for use of military force does not permit this. And hey, we're going to redraw the War Powers Act because executives over the last 20 years have decided the military is their plaything. For lack of a simplistic description, as Shamim said quite eloquently earlier, I'm giving you black and white views of a gray subject.
3 o'clock, you want to go? Let's go.
That's honest. That's honest as fuck. I think we should have went to Congress. I don't think it would have made much of a difference if Congress said no, though, and that kind of would hurt. Like if from the perspective of somebody that's trying to execute the plan as seamlessly as possible, going to Congress just for them to say no and have more people potentially in on your operations. Just I can see why they tried to. I can see why they didn't ask.
Yeah. I mean, there's a rationale not to ask. I just more thought it was interesting. Elle, I didn't even notice you were there. Please come up. Would love to have you if you have the time.
Good morning, Marshall.
How are you? We haven't talked in a hot minute. Are you doing okay?
I'm doing great. I'm busy watching my 1-year-old granddaughter, and she's precious.
I noticed that she really is precious. Aren't you having a good time being a grandmother?
It's literally the best. You can spoil them, you send them home. I've always heard that, but it's a real thing. It's fantastic.
So tell me, I think I can take a gander, but I want to hear your assessment of the whole situation. Top to bottom, War Powers Act, no War Powers Act.
Well, I'm an anti-war girl.
No, I realize that.
Yeah.
But you're also
I'm a Ron Paul anti-war girl. But here's the problem. Congress abdicated that requirement of going to Congress decades ago. To act...
2001.
Well, when was the last time Congress declared war?
The last time we declared war was World War II. Every other action besides that is being authorized under policing. No? Not policing?
No.
Oh, tell me.
So go back and check out. In fact, if you want to go to recent history, go back to Biden's actions. And let me know when Congress had any sort of say. And then go to Obama. And then go to Bush, both Bushes. There were lots of actions that took place without congressional approval.
Yeah.
Congress, this lies squarely on Congress. So while you may want to enforce congressional powers, that I would support that. However, to now claim impeachment,
doing it themselves.
They aren't. Now it's just hot air. It's throwing a hissy fit. But would I like to see Congress take back that power? I absolutely would. But this is not impeachable because we've allowed this for the last as long as I can remember since Bush won. So it's
I think if you can justify it under the War Powers Act,
especially since it's limited right now.
Well, so I wanted to talk you to Duncan, and that was his response. He was it's limited. This is quoted me the part of the War Powers Act.
Well, what happened to Marshall? Oh shoot! I do believe if more action is required, this needs to go to Congress. But I am a little bit appalled. I mean, I almost expect some of these politicians to put up IRGC flags in their bios at this point. It's very bizarre.
It's coming out. It's definitely coming. You'll see the flags soon enough.
The virtue signaling and the wringing of hands over shit that's decades long is amazing.
I think there's a bill that they're all trying to rush back to right now
I'm
to
sure.
pass. You know what bill that is for the whatever war? So to declare war for something.
War powers
I
act.
don't know the name of it, but they're like, oh, we got to get it passed before so we don't have this happen again. I don't know if you saw that, but yeah.
Happen again?
Yeah, I know, right?
Literally just a few years ago, but now we're on it. We're all over it. Johnny on his butt.
Oh, and it's Trump, so you got to make sure we got to get that passed. It's Trump, Come on.
Remember when we took out Libya? Good.
I mean, Syria is unrecognizable from Obama, so I mean, we don't have to go that far to see who wasn't going by the rules.
Hey, guys, I'm going to have to get going, but it's been a pleasure. Just hopefully I'll get a chance to come back in again later, or maybe whenever you have another room. I'll also mention that for those of you who have, and again, I mentioned this when Ro was here earlier, when you get a chance, or if you get a chance, download the Chatter Social app. I have no personal equity or financial stake in it. You start using it, and there are communities building up there as well. As you know, it was started by a lot of ex-Clubhouse folks, and it's actually, there's a new version of it that came out last week. This is a good time to kind of check it out when there's not a lot of people using it. And this is the first time as of last week, that it's not by invitation. So if you can download it, use it, play around with it, find your communities, or even establish your own, you're more than welcome. And I think Rose said that he also has a community there for, for healthy debate that's over there. Hopefully you get a chance to be there, and I'll also possibly have some rooms. But check it out and use the app. I think it's got a lot of good features. That doesn't mean you have to stop using Clubhouse. I'm just saying.
The promo.
Yeah, check it out. All right.
I did. I left. Thanks, though.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Take care of those guys. Thank you.
So there's a mass shooting in Wayne, Michigan. I don't know if anybody saw that. Just happening.
Not really at all.
Christian church. Go figure. Here we go.
Can y'all hear me or does my mic sound low?
We can now. We couldn't before. I kept seeing you on mic, but we couldn't hear you.
Oh, thank you. I said a question for y'all. I'm sure y'all know what I'm supposed to be about.
No, I don't. I've not met you, so make sure you're clear because I don't know.
Well, I know just from what you said already. But so the fact that Israel struck first, and they're in NATO, do you think that omits any kind of literature that might be in the Constitution? Like, would it make it easier for us to attack because of that? Or does that not have anything to do with like?
No,
Okay,
sure
that's what I'm trying to
helps. Right.
Welcome to the retards.
In history.
But just to be, I want to be sure. Did you say because they're in NATO?
Yeah, I was wondering since
They're not in NATO. I just want to clear that up. They are not, but they are an ally. But no, we've worked with them for lots of things.
Okay, that's really what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to make sure that other people knew we are not. They are not a member of
Love
NATO.
is the law.
And Matt, what did you say about the church? I could barely hear you because I was trying to fix my headphone.
Yeah, looks like we have an active shooter situation at the Cross Point Community Church in Wayne, Michigan. it's a Christian church, a bunch of kids. There's actually a video here of the shooter coming in. And yeah, that happened in the last 10 or 15 minutes. So make it what you want. I don't know if this is related to what's going on in the world. At this point, I think anything's possible. I mean, these are Christians. So it's Wayne, Michigan. As we all know, there's a demographic over there. I don't know that much about Wayne, the county itself, but I can be totally off on that. But, start putting some things together. I don't know. I'm still looking into it right now.
I have to dip out for a little bit, but I'll be back.
Hey, I'm sorry, yeah.
It's all right.
Hey, Matt, I never got your take. I don't know where you stand on this. How you feel about this war? You think it's justified, or you against it, or how do you feel about what's going on right now?
Well, I think clearly I would not want to be doing any of this. I mean, I'm totally against any kind of war, right? You know me. I'm America first. But with that said, of course, I think the way it's done, if I'm gonna do this, it was done the proper way. You know what I mean? It wasn't targeting civilians. It was going after what the problem really is, and which we think it is. It's the nukes aspect of it. And so, with that said, I'm gonna get smoke or whatever from the people that know me. I do think we should just not. That should be it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And then, of course, if we were attacked, then it's a whole different story. Obviously, if the blowback is attacking American soldiers, American bases, and what have you, then I'm all in on whatever needs to be done. I don't know if that answers your question, but
I think you kind of answered a more important question that I wanted to ask. I was going to ask you, do you believe this is America first? And I kind of think you don't think this is America first. I can't agree. I won't put words in your mouth, but
no, I can see where clearly we never said that we're not going to do any kind of intervention of sorts. I mean, we're not going to. We don't want Iraq. Let's put it that way. That's intervention, right? Precise missile strikes on a nuke site, away from civilians. I mean, sure, I can go with American first because that's in our interest, in my opinion. In my opinion, I don't think we need the mullahs to have any kind of nukes. I don't see any benefit for them to have it. So, under those pretense, then I'm all on board. I have no problem with it. It being American first in that way. Now, like I said, like I was telling you, I'd rather not have anything to do with it. I think Israel needs to completely be doing this by themselves. Just ridiculous. I think we have so much shit at home, so many problems at home that need to be taken care of. I have no idea what we're doing. Does that surprise you, Kima? I don't know.
No, kind of mean. It seemed like you. I don't know. It seemed like you was kind of. I get your answer, but it feel like you was like kind of torn the line. I don't want to say that, but like you trying to totally. It feel like you want to be more against it than you are. That's my feeling of it. But I appreciate your answer though.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from because you probably thought, obviously MAGA, we're not supposed to be intervening anywhere in that way. So, yeah, you would think that I would be more like that. That makes sense. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking in the best interest, just in general, probably of the world at this point. I mean, it was probably done correct. I mean, I don't know any other ways that you could do this in a proper way where there's not going to be people who are going to have an issue with it. Anytime you do military anything, you're going to get a lot of smoke.
What is it coming? I know they say that with success, Iran got this attempt that it wasn't a success. What did it come out if it wasn't a success that them bombs did not get down people? Would that I ain't just gonna change the man. We just make America better, make it do what they set out to do.
Yeah, no, I've been ping ponging that in my head here about what would that look like if they come back. And it's like, 'cause that's what some of the reports are coming out. I think that's why you're mentioning it. Is that basically they're already trying to set up a way of, fixing it already. Like the damage wasn't as bad as they're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what I got out of the damage was they definitely destroyed Wilkie Program. This is not the most important thing. But as far as the thing below ground, the worst they did was knock out the power. But it was like no real structural damage is gonna limit what they did. They didn't destroy the uranium or didn't destroy the capability of enriching more. That's from my limited understanding of what happened. But I guess we got time to tell. But if that's the case, then that's gonna be that's not gonna look good at all if they are still enriching uranium. If they got to attack again, that's not gonna look good.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you on that. And like time will tell, like you said, we don't know. Obviously, Iran is going to say no, nothing happened. We're good. We're already rebuilding. You know what I mean? That just sounds like the propaganda you would expect. And just I'll go with your hypothetical. I have no problems. Obviously, if what we didn't work, then that is just like that's not good. We gotta, it means we're probably going back in. Who knows at that point? But I just want to follow up. Obviously I'm an American, so I'm going to support America. So that's the other thing about this Akima is, obviously even if Biden was president, I would still want to be supportive of him or whatever, So it's kind of going back to what you're asking about whether or not I'm faltering here at all, but I'm not. I'm just saying, like, I'm definitely supportive of our troops, America, all that good stuff, and even our presidents, whoever it might be.
Yeah, I feel that even though how I feel about Trump, but at the same time, I definitely don't want. That's my biggest problem. That is one of my issues. Like, even if it was a success, if Iran bombed some American bases, I wouldn't even call that an attack. I know people might phrase Iran attacked American bases. I really think it is retaliation. I think it's basically self-defense. And I would hate for American soldiers to get hurt over this. Murder, even one would be terrible. Like you said, Israel should be handling this. They went out like big boys and did their strike, so they should stand 10 toes down and complete their mission. But I would hate for American soldiers to.
Hakeem, I think it's about agreement. So I think you line up pretty good with MAGA on that front. You might have one little area there that you can go along with us for the ride on, You want to destroy Trump's legacy, put some troops into Iran. Talk about just completely utter mess of Trump and what we think his legacy is. Just have him do that, and that's going to be really bad. So, like I said, Israel, you gotta get yourself out of this. You gotta figure it out, man.
No, I think we tied to the hip at this point. I don't think it's just on Israel to get out. I think we done jumped to the deep end. I think they gotta. It ain't just, like I said, it ain't just Israel. It's America clearly in the war. I hope they can walk it back, but I don't see a way they can walk it back unless Iran just surrender and capitulate to whatever demands they want. But I don't see that happening. I think it's going to be messy for a while.
Well, what do you think the response will be back? Do you think? What do you think is the blowback?
They have to. I don't want this, but strategically, they have to attack American bases. They have to. Like, I hate to say it, but short of that, they should just shut the fuck up. If they're not going to do that, just shut the fuck up and take the new deal, whatever the deal is, and try to salvage whatever you got in your leadership. Because if you come back with a weak response, telling Israel or Iran, like they did, like when Trump killed the general last term, they came back to response. Well, we're going to attack this base at this time, which is a weak response, but I kind of get it. They come back with something like that, they might as well just give the fuck up. I think they're gonna lose support from like the Houthis and the Hezbollah. I think they're gonna look weak across the board. So I think, unfortunately, I think they gotta have a strong response or no response.
I mean, clearly they're going to do something. I mean, they've already stated that they're going to do that, so you have to kind of like do it because you stated it. But it's going to be interesting. I do think, like you said, I think like probably bases will be attacked, and I think and I hope obviously we have a little bit more foresight in planning this out, and the fact that how could we have not known that they were going to do something back? Obviously, right? So I'm assuming they have plans ready to figure out how to combat that and what have you. I think, and I don't know if this is true. I haven't had a chance to really dig into it, but I don't know. Do we own the airspace of Iran? I don't even know at this point. I've heard so many conflicting stories.
I would say, well, I don't know. I'm with you on that part, guaranteeing, but I would say they did. It would seem like they do, but at least Israel claimed they had it 5 days ago. So I don't see why it would be more definite right now. Like that's my guess. Like I don't know.
Right. I mean, I think last night they sent rockets over. I think that was the first time in a couple days, right? So I'm surprised they still have that ability. They must be under the ground in a sense. I don't know what that looks like. So I'm surprised.
That's what I want to know, like what that look like. I really would like to know what that looks like, because Israel done had control doing major damage, but yet they're still firing major rockets and drones. I would like to know what that look like. Where are they firing these things from at this point? I would like, but I have no idea. I would like to know what that really looks like in real time.
For all we know, they're not even coming from Iran. They're coming like from Iraq or something.
Whatever,
it's so bad right there, right?
I thought that too. They got to come from somewhere else. But wherever it's coming from, they should see the source by now. Like between the U.S. and Israel should know, unless each new launch is from a different place. You know what I'm saying? Like they got, we're not launching from here until they destroy that. Then they launch from there. They destroy that. They got a new, unless they're doing something like that, which would be wild. But I don't see how they still can launch attack like they're doing. I would like to understand how that's happening.
Well, speaking of attacks, and I heard Brad earlier that I do have to give some praise to Trump in the fact that he actually executed this literally with no leaks. That is pretty impressive. I mean, especially with how rapid the media is to get on Trump, right? I'm just completely shocked that nothing came about that was like, okay, we see movement over here, we see movement from various individuals. You know what I mean? Just in general, they're usually able to pick this shit up pretty quickly. And then we didn't have Pete Hegseth leaking shit all over the place, so that helps too. But I'm just saying, the fact that this was executed to a T is, I got to give Trump some credit on that. It could have gotten foul probably pretty quickly. So on that part, since we're speaking of like how people are doing their defenses and offenses on this, I think America once again shows just how superior we are.
One thing I would say for sure, like Iran or no other country should ever trust like some deadline. You know what I'm saying? Like they said they had the next meeting. Israel responded. Well, they had two conflicting things. Trump said 60 days, but yet the meeting was 3 days after. So they used that to keep them off guard to attack. Then Trump told them 2 weeks. He bombed in 2 days. I think Iran and any other country should like not. And I think that's not a good thing when you can't respect diplomacy. I think that's a bad thing, because I think a war is going to happen, but diplomacy is necessary. And if you're negotiating in bad faith, I think that's a bad precedent. But either way, I don't think no country should accept some deadline like, well, we got this much time. No, I would not trust that ever again if I would know better.
Can you hear me right now? I got a phone call.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I can't close the mic anyways right now.
Hey,
no, I hear you.
Pull to refresh like 2 or 3 times. Your mic should free up.
Yeah, that actually worked. Appreciate it. Thank you. No, and this is, I get where you're coming from. Obviously, I think people kind of knew that we were exhausted with trying to make a deal, so to speak. Even though we all think that Trump is going to try to make that extra effort to make a deal. I think he does have his limits too. So I think I'm just gonna disagree with you on this one. I do think that the 2-week extra was just buy time to, or make them feel like they have time to do whatever they're doing. And he had no intention for having 2 weeks on the table.
Oh, no, I agree with that. I agree that he had no intention. That's why I say nobody should trust. Nobody should trust another deadline. Nobody should ever trust.
No, that's fair. No, I think we're kind of basically probably done with that, anyways, for all I know. But I'm just saying, did you catch that the B-52s went to, or B-2s went to Guam to do a distraction? So these are all this art warfare, you know. Just to let you know, I mean, I think I'm not blaming Trump for that in that way, and I don't think you were too. I think you're just saying that they have no reason to go along with anything anymore. I got you. Okay, yeah.
I just want to say that I love to see him keep him modded in this space. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm not really a fan of it. I think it's by default. I don't want to be a mod in a place where the main person don't want me a mod. That's kind of awkward. But I appreciate that, Adams.
How you doing, Adams? Happy Sunday, by the way.
Happy Sunday.
Pretty exciting, huh?
Yeah, no, it's pretty exciting. You know, I don't have to go pick cotton today. You know, I watched a little bit of televangelism, and you know, I'm just day of rest.
Go to sleep, Adam. Like, what the fuck? Go to sleep, bro. Go rest for real. That's what I'm picking cotton. You ain't never did a hard day's work in your life, Adam. Stop it.
What are you talking about? I threw a party for over 100 people yesterday. Like, that was definitely hard work.
If you call someone a party for 100 people hard work, I think you kind of prove my point. But no shade though. I'm jealous that I will have that privilege. So I'm just that's.
Did we ever the title of the room? I didn't hear what your opinion was on Hakima. You're saying that he had to go to Congress first, or no? What are your thoughts on that right now?
Of course, my understanding, like that War Powers Act, if it's a preemptive strike, he got a right to do it within 60 days. But my problem is, I think the whole preemptive strike is fraud. I don't think they were close to nukes. I don't think they was really going. I think they enriched uranium to the point they did because Trump killed that last deal from Obama, and they were just stuck at under 4%. But I think the preemptive strike, I think they were forcing the position. I think they wanted this to get here so they could do it. I think Iran probably played into their hands. But I don't think it was a necessary preemptive strike. So under the terms, I know he can do certain things. I don't think it's what he's going to try to make it. I don't buy that story. I could be dead wrong, but I don't buy the story.
Do you think he's doing a regime change? Because he's clearly come out in the last, or at least this morning. Most of them are the administration saying no, they're not doing a regime change. But I think what's going to happen is they're going to make that country so weak that, you know, the people hopefully will be an uprising of sorts, and then they'll attach themselves to a regime change. So they're putting with the strikes first, and then maybe regime change last, because that's just what they want to do right now.
What I say, if they say they're not doing a regime, damn, calm down, son. Be happy. I know I had a happy time. But if they're making the statement they're not doing regime change, I think this will fall right in the same line of them saying they're going to keep negotiating, or we give you 2 weeks. I think that's just pure fraud. I think they're just trying to stall them out the best they can. But I think this is 100% regime change effort, I don't think regime change ever works. I don't know a case where it really works. So I think if that's the case, it's going to be pretty bad.
I'm going to go down the dark road a little bit. I think, I'm just going to say this, because I think maybe America might be goading Iran to do something, overplay themselves, or goad them into doing something stupid, like literally attacking a U.S. base and hurting U.S. Servicemen, which I think is a suicidal run for them, because maybe in a sense that's kind of what we want, because I don't want anybody hurt, obviously, but that way they can literally have justification for going in and finishing the job. And that was the dark side. That's the dark side I don't want, but I do think that's on the table. I think Iran could be on the chopping block. I'm just going to go out there. I'm going down the deepest well here at this point.
I think they're forcing their hand. I think, like I said earlier, I think they're forcing them to attack. I don't necessarily think they're goading them. Like, they're putting them in, like, you have to attack or you have to step down, kind of. Like, I think it's like in check. They're saying check. And you got to get the fuck out of check or it's checkmate. I think they have to. I don't think goading. I think they put them in a place where they have to.
Well, Kima, just imagine the shitstorm if one U.S. soldier dies in this from what they do.
Yeah, I know, and that's what it's going to be framed as Iran attacked American, killed American soldiers, but really, like I said earlier, I would call it self-defense. Like, what else do you want me to do? Like, you're going to attack me at my core, my fundamental core, you're going to attack that. So if I attack back, it's not me attacking, really, just me responding.
I get it, but you gotta think that we've been at war in a sense with this particular regime. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, but
so
it's not like this is severe escalation though. Like, it's always been like a war, proxy wars with Iran and Israel firing missiles back and they blocking them out. It was always that, but this is a major escalation from what Israel did, and especially with something. I can say something what both of them did, I believe, was a major escalation.
I don't think so. I think that, given the context of the belligerence in this war, what Iran did to support October the 7th is kind of the, final nail in their coffin. I mean, it is what it is. Like, they're toast. They're completely toast.
I don't see why there's any good outcome for them that they're thinking. I mean, where are they digging up stuff that is there something we don't know about?
Yes. No, it's not a matter of we don't know about it. It's a matter of, like,
no, I mean them. Like,
all of the foreign
good outcome on this.
All of the activism that gassed them up. Like, that's honestly the reason why they did this, Matt. And nobody's paying attention to this. Like, they were gassed up by so many freaking liberals in the West, worldwide. So many liberals in the West, worldwide. They goaded those people into their own demise, thinking that they could actually get away with this. Like, those are the people who are really to blame, for things kind of, falling as they are. Like, they're the ones that are completely to blame.
Are you a liberal, Alric?
No.
I was hoping to find someone to blame. Why be a close friend? So what do you make of the title, Alric, or what do you make of this whole situation?
I'm glad it happened. I think it was decades in the making, with Hillary making the uranium available to them through direct and indirect methods, with Obama giving them money and Biden giving them money, freeing up money. They got emboldened. They got, I think, impatient. And October 7th was the catalyst, and this is, I think, Netanyahu's perception, his belief, that with Trump in office early in his term, this is the best chance to partner with the American military and do what they have been talking about for decades, but nobody has ever had the right, set of circumstances. But with Netanyahu and Trump and all these other factors involved, I think they looked at it like this is a chance we can't pass up. So I'm glad it happened. I think if it did completely eliminate their potential, their capability to create a nuclear weapon, it certainly set them back decades, if not longer.
How close do you estimate that they were going to be able to build the nukes? How far away were they from that, in your opinion?
Well, I don't have any special access to information, but I mean, from what I've read, based on the UN estimates, that they were exceeding the thresholds for nuclear energy. And so if that has been documented and I think confirmed or at least supported, strongly supported by external agencies, then whatever it is, it's too short of a runway. It's too short of a time period. Whether it was weeks, months, or even years, they crossed the line, they crossed the boundary, and they knew what they were doing. They believed that no one would stop them, and they FAFO'd their way into this situation.
Does anybody know if the Atomic Agency was able to check in there? I didn't even know that situation. I forget the acronym for it, but
The IAEA.
Yeah, what's the involvement with them? Do they have any access to Iran stuff or no?
They did. That's the thing. They did up until Trump killed the deal. They was in there, full access to everything Iran did, and them and another agency confirmed that Iran was not going to pass the 3.67%. Now they're at possibly 60-70%, which is weapons grade uranium. And prior to Trump shutting that deal down, it was confirmed that it wasn't past 4%.
So wait, you're talking about Trump's deal from this year,
I'm talking about the deal. The deal that Obama put in place, that JCPOA, whatever it's called, that deal was the one that kept them under 4% until Trump scrapped the deal, and there has been no new deal since 2018, and that's when they started ramping up. It was confirmed by different agencies that it wasn't past 4% until Trump scrapped that deal.
I like how Tulsi Gabbard endorsed Joe Biden on day number 1 that he was announced as our president. So I just find it amazing how she can go from this social media darling of how, first of all, she supposedly outed like 100 trans people at the National, Defense Intelligence Network or whatever it is. There's like some secret trans cult. And she herself is in a cult, some kind of Hare Krishna cult, for world peace and meditation. And Trump knows that strength is the joy of the law. And when you're enriching uranium for energy, how difficult is it to just secretly pull off higher enrichment without anybody knowing, so you can get the materials necessary for that type of bomb? But now Russia and other countries are saying they'll give Iran a nuclear weapon. So you can open Pandora's box, and everybody here on this stupid app can clap themselves on their back and scream death to the mullahs and regime change now. But these loudmouth, disgusting people on this app, they're not going to go over there and fight with them. And the people in Iran aren't going to rise up and fight their government. Can you imagine people in the United States rising up and fighting their government? Can you imagine your nuclear facility near your house having a fucking MOAB dropped on it? Iran didn't know who they were fucking with. But nonetheless, all of this is unconstitutional. And we all just keep going along with all this unconstitutionality. We have no constitution in this country. We don't even read it. We don't even know what's in it anymore because we don't follow it. So, I say stand with Thomas Massey and call out hypocrites But people on this app need to stop running their mouths and probably go to the gym and read a book. I mean, people on this app are disgusting. They're trained in history. Their fucking breath stinks. And everybody on this app is pathetic. I am complete.
What is happening here? Like, are me and Edmund agreeing, or is he trolling? Like, if you're not trolling, we are in total agreement.
I'm just speaking my truth. I mean, I'm not here reading scripts like some weird people that you can tell they're fucking reading scripts about Iran. You're like, who the fuck are these people? And why do they have such dramatic acting voices? And are they reading scripts?
Me and Edmund is agreeing 100%.
I mean, I'm not saying that there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe. Like, this was coming, and those dumb Iranians thought that we would never have the balls to do it. Well, we wouldn't have probably had the balls. See, that's the worst thing is Kamala and Tim Walz were in office, the same exact fucking thing probably would have happened. And maybe it would be even worse. Instead of being strategic about it, I bet you Tim Walz and Kamala would have been like, we're sending in the 1st Cavalry, the 101st Airborne. You know, that's the type of psycho that they are. Trump, at least, you know, is a discreet strategist, and hopefully he won't cost us, you know, dead soldiers. And we can just do this the way that we should have done Afghanistan and Iraq, which was strategic targeted attacks and maybe limited special forces incursions. So, I mean, we have to fight these wars like guerrilla warriors. The country is broke. We're $40 trillion in debt. And they're passing, you know, the big, beautiful bill, and it's $5 trillion. 40% of our economy is just borrowing from the Federal Reserve. The rich are going to get richer, and the banking industrial complex is going to have a new country to start investing in, and that's going to be called Iran. I mean, you know, I'm all for change, but at least let's call people out for being hypocrite. And I'm also loving the new Anonymous because I can't, you know, when I get kicked out of rooms, I can just continue recording. So Marshall Stinkin' Rankin, you know, the fake ass Republican from Texas on the border who knows everything, and he's a historian and a professor who kicks me out of every room, you know, because nobody likes to have their stupidity recorded. I don't know. That's.
So I see they done adopt you over to the other side. I remember when it first came out, you said you wasn't gonna pay the $5. I see you see the use in it. Yeah.
I think I'm the only person who actually benefits from the Anonymous Plus feature. Everybody else is just like, ooh, new feature, I'm gonna buy it. You know, it's like, oh, okay, what are you gonna do? Go into a room anonymously so you can listen to people be stupid and record them and put them on the internet for your political campaign? I don't know. That's just me.
Hey, what do you think? Don't you think people's heads would explode if Clubhouse offered the option where for $5 more, you could be anonymous and speak in a room and not have the same privilege and speak? I think.
Oh my God, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. I would pay $1,000 up front just to have that.
Yeah, they might do that because that would be something really worth monetizing. It might run people away though, because people are such crap. If you're recording me, shut the fuck up. You're recording anyway. Like that's one thing I didn't get about the Edmund thing. Like he's recording rooms. So the fuck, what? Like what is he gonna do with that shit? Like I don't get. I never understood.
Netflix. That's the goal, right, Edmund? Netflix.
No, I mean, I'm running for Congress now, so now I have about 10,000 videos of listening and actually communicating with retarded people. So if you just Google my name, John Kitover, you come across about 20 different YouTubes, 10,000 plus videos of people on Clown House essentially wasting their time completely and entirely. It's total entertainment. There's no real education. It's gaslighting, grifting, and shitpot stirring. That's what it is. And, you know, it's basically everybody competing to beat Oprah or Maury Povich. And there's some people who have a knack for it, and they're called sociopaths and psychopaths.
I mean, I don't think that Maury is a psychopath. I definitely don't. You know how many black homes that he's kept together?
A lot of narcissists on here. A lot of egotistical narcissists who think they're actually doing something when they're not making any money and not even producing anything creative. They're literally the definition of stupidity or insanity.
Yeah, but don't you think about, like, do you not think about how many black people actually met their fathers because of Maury?
What the fuck, Adam? Let's not get on black people, please. Let's not do it. Don't rub me up.
You are one of my favorites, though, Adam. Like, you know, because, like, as somebody who sits here and actually creates clips of people on this app, I haven't done a clip of you in a while, but you are one of the funniest people on this app. And so what's interesting is when people curate these spaces and they want to introduce new speakers, there's, like, very definitive personalities and profiles. And you can kind of anticipate what they're going to say. And I think it's the people who are funny and outlandish on this app that are the special people. So kudos to you, Dr. Ed.
Well, you know, hopefully when Oprah gets off of house arrest, you know, maybe we can sit down and, you know, talk about a special.
It's becoming that way. You know, Clown House is a microcosm. I feel like it's a really untapped, rich resource of content. And I'm doing my best to capture that. And Anonymous has allowed me to essentially record Roger Mayhem, aka Mojo Rooms, for the past, you know, couple days, and Jay Breska Rooms for the past couple days. And it's great content, and people on YouTube like it. You know, and if it's not on record, you know, the thing is nobody goes back and listens to replays anyways. It's a waste of time. People want to be in the moment, be a part of the experience. But using this as campaign content, because it's all political, to me is invaluable. And I feel like a lot of people can benefit from the content here, especially with Anonymous. I mean, it's political content for your constituents or just for audiences to enjoy the entertainment. But there's also a lot of very disgusting people here on this app. People who want to hide in the shadows, use it as their little experimental playground for their propaganda, their cultural Marxist washing and brainwashing. And so, I don't know, I feel like Anonymous really sets this place free in the sense that those who may think they hold power or privilege here, or, you know, they get these stupid things called green beans, as if they're important on this app. You know, nobody makes any money from this. So it's just a delusional, you know, collection of retards literally just getting their dopamine pull. And, you know, I love recording it because to me, it's invaluable. There's no other place to really observe such a close-knit network of retards waste all their.
Hey guys, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Bouchard?
Not bad. I've been following the news over the past couple of days, and finally something is happening. So,
has anybody determined what percentage of the bombs on the 3 nuke sites are the equivalent in the Hiroshima, Nagasaki detonations? Because if you look at the total tonnage of TNT, you can actually calculate out what the percentage is in terms of TNT power. Was it the same as a nuclear bomb from the 1940s?
Probably not, because the Nico bomb that they dropped on
Sarah, I'm talking about the actual TNT calculations, because the Hiroshima blast was 400,000 tons of TNT. So what was the total tonnage of this detonation? Because don't forget, it had to penetrate down very deep.
I think it was 60,000.
It was 60,000 tons of TNT?
No, 16,000 kilotons.
Anyways, is anybody in America worried about Shia sleeper cells and terrorist attacks? Or are you more worried about psycho?
No, I'm worried about this crazy government.
I'm more worried about I'm more worried about white liberals, to be very honest with you, comedian.
Exactly.
I think that white liberals are going to be the most upset about this. Like, I was on Clubhouse yesterday and I walked into a store owned by an Iranian person, and he was listening to the conversation, and the dude slapped me 5. He's like, I'm so happy that this shit is actually happening. Like, and nobody...
Iranian people own stores there?
What are you talking about? Los Angeles has the biggest Iranian population outside of Iran. Like, what are you talking about?
I never.
People are actually happy about this shit. Like, right. So people are actually happy about this shit. Have you ever heard of a section in Los Angeles called Little Tehran?
Never. I'm in Florida.
Got it. So it's between the 405 freeway, okay, and Beverly Glen. On the, like, basically coming up to the west side of Los Angeles. It's like a little bit further south than Westwood. You have a huge Iranian population there that are completely elated at the fact that this has happened. Like, even growing up in Orange County,
know they're all happy about this.
Even growing up in Orange County, I lived next to a lot of Iranian people. Like, they used to go to freaking Iran during the summer and, like, used to come back, you know, just completely different people. Like, they absolutely hated going back to a country where they experienced, like, like, a level of oppression that they did, especially the women. Like, could you imagine growing up in Newport Beach and then you get on a plane to go, you know, on your summer vacation to go visit your grandparents in Iran, and all of a sudden now you need to wear a hijab?
Adam, the Iranians in LA, they go as Persians for a reason. I was wondering if you know why.
Well, I love the thought of somebody from Tehran, Jalise, going over there with a bazooka and an M16A4 to go battle some, you know, Iranian counter-terrorist forces. It's so fucking laughable. And so this whole thing is so inauthentic. Like, if there was, you know, there's nobody ever picks up a rifle. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go fight my government. Like, nobody decides to do that unless shit gets so bad, you know, for you collectively that people get together. Like maybe the Revolutionary War. You know, shit got that bad where they were sending in German mercenaries to kill everybody. So, I mean, until there's like an actual conflict, all this is inauthentic and artificial. And let alone, nobody wants to talk about the possible Epstein connection with Trump and how he could potentially be being blackmailed. I've never heard one person bring that up, let alone Elon Musk just 3 weeks ago said that Trump is in the Epstein flight log. So I don't know if he's alluding to the fact that Trump, you know, is a pedophile, or the fact that he's being blackmailed by Israel. So it's like nobody wants to talk about these things, and all that shit has just fallen off a cliff now that real bombs are exploding. So everybody is just a fucking moth, and as soon as there's a candle that gets lit, everybody just goes, "Look, there's a candle! What the fuck just happened over the past couple years?"
So
I don't even have a memory anymore.
So you don't think that Elon Musk and Donald Trump, that little bit of them having that fake beef, you don't think that that was to correct Elon's stock prices?
No, Elon is a fucking disaster. He fucked himself, shot himself in the foot. He's his own worst enemy. He had a space on X last night under Adrian Dittman. And, yeah, he's a schmuck. And he put his foot in his mouth, and now he's out of favor. And he tried to do a public relations management for him and his brands, but he's that much of an autistic moron. If he never would have said anything, he would be far more wealthy. You know, if he was a true liberal psychopath, he would be far more successful now than he is. But it doesn't matter. The guy is so set for life. He doesn't have shit to worry about. The guy is, you know, one of the richest people on the planet, and he helped Trump get into office. So. I don't know, but to me, the whole thing is, it's like, is the U.S. really going to fly C-130s with paratroopers and drop them off in the southeast corner of Tehran?
Wait, so are you implying that an African American helped Donald Trump become president?
Yeah, fucking without a doubt. Without X, we would have medical tyranny. We would have censorship to the highest level possible. I mean, you know how many accounts everybody has had deleted on X because liberals didn't like what they were saying about the administration? There was total top-down censorship from the White House, FBI, CIA, Peter Strzok, all these fucking pieces of shit in the government and in big tech who circulate between federal agencies and big tech platforms, they completely closed all censor. You couldn't talk about the vaccine as being dangerous. And it turns out that, oh my God, it's super dangerous. And you had a 400% myocarditis increase in young men. So you want to talk about genocide? Oh, 50,000 babies and women in Gaza. What about like 1-point-something million or maybe a couple million people from getting Pfizer, Moderna, J&J stuck in their fucking bloodstream? For what? They would have been fine without it. And where are the arrests? You know, no one has been arrested in this government or previous governments or corporations for what we know is outright fraud, waste, abuse, theft, fraud, fucking murder. I mean, this is a depopulation. Nobody's having babies. Look at the charts. You know, what was Elon Musk's big thing? Oh, there's a depopulation crisis. Oh my God, maybe the vaccine has something to do with it. Why does a child get 60 fucking injections before it's like 6 months old? What the fuck? This is corporate insanity. Corporate lobbying insanity. Every congressman who has received money from Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, and all the health insurance companies, so they keep putting out $2 trillion a year in Medicaid, so these companies can keep existing. We live in an artificial fucking economic bubble. Nothing in this country is authentic anymore. Not the wars, not the dollar, nothing. Everybody knows we're living in a huge illusion. Nothing is really genuine anymore. That's my.
Alhamdulillah. Oh, fuck that shit. Fuck that. What are you talking about?
I'm saying when 40% of our economy.
No, I'm talking about the person. Alhamdulillah. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is it?
No, Pikachu's a great speaker, and yesterday he applauded Donald Trump for taking this strike, and he thanked Trump on behalf of all the Jewish people in the world, which I thought was beautiful, because truly, you know, a nuclear-armed Iran is a significant problem for the people of Israel, who are surrounded by multiple very vicious countries. So, you know, this is like a chess game, and Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are chess grandmasters. And I don't think anybody can keep up with them at this point. Like whoever throws that first punch and gets that bloody nose is the one who has an 80% chance of winning now. So I salute you, Pika.
Alhamdulillah. Peace be upon him, Donald Trump. Alhamdulillah.
Life. Like, it's easy to sit back and say and complain and criticize all this shit. But when you really look at human history, you're like, oh, I should have even anticipated this. You know, but nobody wants to anticipate this kind of shit because it's just so crazy.
Listen, in 1,000 years from now, Donald J. Trump will be seen as the next prophet. I'm telling you.
He will go down in history as being like a golden king, like with the Midas touch. I mean, it's his branding, though, which is what has accomplished this.
In the Third Testament, there will be a new prophet, and that will be in the name of Donald J. Trump. It's the prophecy. It's in the books. It's going to happen. I mean, I think they said that a prophet comes before the Moshiach. After the golden prophet comes, the Moshiach then arrives. You know that old song, comedian? Moshiach, Moshiach, Moshiach.
The saying isn't there will be Mashiach, Mashiach is coming. The statement is Mashiach is now. That's the secret to understanding what's happening now. I mean, does Iran even have any friends or allies other than their little proxy forces in Yemen or Lebanon? I mean, is any other country going to step up for them and say, you know what, you guys have been unfairly attacked and you're a good, righteous government? You know, no, I don't think so, right? I mean, if you don't have friends, or you know, I don't think
they certainly have friends. I would expect you to know that they definitely have Russia and China. But not saying they're actually going to step in, but it's very possible that they may. Like, it's already suspected that China was giving, Iran the missiles to shoot down F-35, which they say they shot down 4, is not confirmed. I'm not saying it's a fact. But it's believed that China would have given them some special weapons that they normally
If
would
there were
have.
4 F-35 shot down, it would have been all over the news. Not one news station has actually reported that. And the Israelis haven't confirmed that either.
100%. Nobody can find it. I'm with you. I got you.
From the 7th, sorry to interrupt. From the 7th of October, I started to really become a believer. I mean, it is inconceivable to imagine how miraculous things have turned since the 7th of October in favor of Israel in relation to getting rid of Hamas, getting rid of Hezbollah, right? Effectively upturning Syria's internal and external domestic issues, and furthermore then attacking Iran. I mean, if there's any time to start believing in God, now is the time. Because for such a small nation, such a tiny nation the size of New Jersey, to do what it's done is miraculous. And I have to say that before Donald Trump got elected, I prayed so hard for him to become the President of the United States of America so that this day would come. And it wasn't just me who was praying like this, it was the whole Jewish nation who was praying like this. So thank God we're in a position now where we can actually start fixing and healing this very sick planet.
Pablo, do you think though that if Waltz and Kamala were president and VP, do you think that the outcome would have been the same though? That, you know, just like the pandemic, scamdemic, I mean, war is a racket, and therefore, you know, this was coming, and they caught the Iranians.
She didn't even have the balls to talk about what was going on in the university campuses, never mind the same outcome. She would have thrown more money at the shit and said, yeah, we go, let's do another deal with these guys, let them get their atomic weapon so they can then start, you know, attacking us with it in any which way they want, or using that against us, or bribing us. That's what that ploy was. I mean, when Obama wanted to give him money, that was when it all went wrong. That's when it all went.
I mean, supposedly it was their money that was the saying, but, you know, what's the point of giving these fuckers billions of dollars? I mean, I don't know, Obama gets a bad rep. That fucking guy dropped 27,000 bombs supposedly during his second administration. I mean, all these numbers are coming out about how Obama is chief deporter, chief bomber. But, you know, I mean, they didn't want to cross that line with Iran. But, I mean, this is like, the attacks have been so fucking strategic and supposedly executed so well. I mean, but, you know, people talk about blowback, and blowback, you know, it's real. So, I mean, I don't want to go to any music fests this summer. You know, go to a music fest, you might die.
The next few years, you're going to have to be a little bit more streetwise. I do agree with you. But at the same time, it's going to take a while to clean up the shit.
Yeah, it'll definitely spill over into the next administration. So it'll be interesting to see who the Democrats put forward. I suspect it'll be Vance. If I had to guess right now, it'd probably be Vance and Rubio on the ticket. And if the Democrats are going to try to unseat Kamala, I don't know who right now, except for maybe Gavin, but, you know, he's so fucking, I don't know who's more toxic, Gavin or Kamala. But I don't know who else they have on the bench. I mean, I guess you could say some of the governors, Pritzker, Whitmer.
There's no way in hell that Gavin Newsom is going to become our next president. There's just simply no way in hell.
Yeah, but he might be the nominee.
Yeah, Yeah, plenty of people every year are nominated for Grammys. Does it make him the best song of the year? No. So, I mean, at the end of the day, Gavin Newsom can run all he wants. He's not going to win the presidency.
And man, for Donald Trump to have done what he's done in the first 6 months of his presidency, it's just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, look, there was always going to be blowback from everything that he was going to do, but he came in to an absolute shitstorm, which he really had been thinking about the last 4 years, how he's going to clean it up. And from day dot, he's doing the job.
Yeah, I don't know. So, Matt, I'm going to the Palisades today. This should be interesting.
Oh, really? Back to the crime scene.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. I actually have a few patients in our facility that don't have clothes because the National Guard wouldn't let them back into their homes. Even just by the fact that their homes didn't burn down, they won't let them back there to actually get clothes. It's crazy. That's actually going to be my next stop after the Palisades, is to go to Burlington Coat Factory out of my own money and get this woman a few outfits. So at least she has clothes. It's very disgusting in what's happening.
Yeah, that's horrible. Ugh.
Has the regime change ever worked? Like, look at Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, they go back to elections or their Islamic caliphate. I mean, you can't get rid of the people who live in a place. Otherwise, that's called genocide. So it's like, this whole thing is like very strategic. I mean, but the Iranians, I mean, shit, imagine if they would have invested all that money in building energy plants using petroleum. They wouldn't be having this problem. So you make bad decisions in life, you have bad outcomes. And the voters in Iran, even though they've got voters, you've seen them hold up their finger, their paint on it. Like, I just voted, here's my finger with paint on it. It's like, well, you made some bad decisions on who you voted for. Your leaders probably should have stopped the uranium enrichment and nuclear facilities and invested in, oil and negotiated peace deals. I mean, these fucking idiots. It's like, can't people just make good decisions and invest for the future and do it strategically and wisely without creating conflict? And what the fuck's wrong with people? It's like, well, fuck around and find out.
Well, it just goes to show you just how little they care about their own people. You know what I mean? Like, all these decisions are none of the people that really have voted for. You know what I mean? In a true sense of the word. So they're literally being dictated. The people in charge are literally dictating these folks' lives. It's crazy. Like, really nuts.
They're led by zealots, and it won't change until Islam undergoes a reformation. I mean, we'll be seeing these backwards countries with the majority of the people at like a fourth grade education supporting the religious zealots to some degree until
what about those idiots in the White House and Joe Biden fucking doing Trans Appreciation Day every day of the week and supporting genital mutilation for young children? I mean, and paying for it through Medicare. Like, we have our own significant fucked up cultural problems in this country, and thank God it's gone. But that specter is still there. These liberal psychopaths. The American population is stupid, and our voting system sucks. The Democrats can and will come back into power. Sorry to interrupt you, but I just can't stand when people talk shit about the Iranian government, but yet they're not going to balance it with how fucked up our stupid government is. Because the whole world is clown world. But I think our clown world is worse than their fucking clown.
You bring up an interesting point. I mean, we all know Biden was asleep at the wheel, right? I mean, I think everybody's pretty much can confirm that he was not there completely. I think we're going to find out a lot more very soon. So it just makes you wonder all this diddle-daddling that he was doing and not, being cognitive enough to know what was going on. It's probably going to turn out that like they probably knew a lot more over there in Iran doing what they were doing, you know what I mean? And like they weren't doing anything; they were just kind of sitting around, you know. So I don't know. There's a lot more stuff to this, and yeah, you're right. I mean, both our governments are just kind of diddle-dally right now.
I don't know. Don't you think it's crazy though for people on this app to be calling for, you know, death, chaos, mayhem, regime change, and what that entails? It's like you don't regime change without going down without a fight. So it's like, wow, you got such a big mouth. You know, you can spew so much propaganda, but you're not going to go over there and fight with these people. And are you going to go work 3 days a week to support a proxy war? So these people can take out their government and we can buy them all the weapons. And he's like, when does the spending ever fucking stop in this country? It's just not going to stop. We're running a Ponzi scheme. You know, it's great if you're on one side of the fence. It's terrible if you're on the other side of the fence. I don't know. Everything is like a result of World War II and the dollar being the world reserve preferred currency. You know, we got so much fucking juice in the system that we can get away with doing this, but no other country can afford to do what we do, and we haven't really taken a significant loss. I mean, yeah, you may have lost your life in Afghanistan before the withdrawal, you know, but like, I mean, in terms of like major losses, America is like the last man standing. I mean. But let alone we're still engaged in Ukraine. It's like, but thank God we got Trump there because Zelensky is such a little fucking rat. I mean, he's such a rat bastard. And what has happened to Ukraine is just, you know, I can't stand anybody who goes on about the 50,000 women and children in Gaza, but they're not going to talk about like probably 2 million people that are dying in fucking wasteland, that have died in wastelands in Ukraine.
Well, I mean, let's talk about the 1 million plus children in America that are murdered by abortion. Nobody wants to have that conversation either.
100,000 a month at a cost of over $1 billion a month for taxpayers. It's like, that's a straight up genocide. Why the fuck do we give the money to these fat lesbian OBGYN liberal psychopath doctors? $1 billion a month. We should give that fucking money to the 100,000 women that kill their children for these doctors who get 10,000 plus per surgery. So where the money goes, Medicare, Medicaid is the problem. It shouldn't go to these fucking doctors and these health corps and insurance corps. The money should go to the fucking pregnant mother who would prefer to have a $10,000 check and free health care to have that baby. Because if we have a population crisis, we have to stop funding. We have to stop the flow of money to these abortion clinics and give the money to our American women so they can fucking have a child. We are a sick society. And it's just right there, it's on every street corner. I can look out my window right now. There's fucking abortion doctors on the corner of my fucking street here in Chicago. It's like, I don't want you to make an income anymore. I would prefer that these women have a child and a check.
Or these same women that ask for, you know, equal treatment can stop fucking with no impunity and get a job.
Yeah, but why do we give a female abortion doctor $10,000 to Da Vinci machine a baby's corpse and put it in a bottle? We could give that money to the woman. We need children. If we're such a war-fighting country, we need warriors. We need children to fill the gaps, to take over from the baby boomers. We're going to have a huge labor shortage in this country and a lack of IQ because everybody's TikToked and brain rotted out. There's no replacement for all the people in the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, the Marines, the Coast Guard. We have raised a generation of sick people, fully vaccinated, incapable of coming to the high-end demands of military service. Go look at your average 13-year-old. They're sick. They're skinny. They're weak. They're fully vaxxed, triple boosted. They've been lied to, masked up. I mean, we're the worst. It's clown world. Mojo down here. to plant a flag, the U.S. flag and the Israeli flag in Tehran. He wants us to do a ground incursion and take out these Muslim terrorist bastards. Is he right? Is he wrong? Who knows?
Oh, it's MAGA mojo. Hello, sir.
What's up, Roger?
Not much. What's going on?
Nothing much. I see Edmund disappear.
He ran.
No, I think he was helped out the door.
Yeah, shoved out the door.
He was actually making sense today.
Yeah, he was on some different medication doses or something.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? So what's going on? Catch me up. Give me like, let's see which one of you guys can give me a 30-second recap of where.
What his room is at? Nah, this room is out. There's no 30-second recap. Where we at this point? No.
I'll give you a 30-second recap of what I did last night in between, helping to help with modding a room. I went to a local Native American casino, went to the craps table, ran over it so sufficiently that they came over and they shut down the table. They said, "Hey, this table's closing. We're gonna move everybody over to this other one." And what was crazy is like they had 3 craps tables. All 3 of them were full, but I got there and like within 2 shooters I was up $7,800, and like I think they just freaked out and they were just like, "This table's closed." And then I went and I spoke to not just the pit boss but the person that ran the floor, and I asked, well, like, "Hey, what's going on?" And they said, "Oh, it's a staffing issue." And I said, "Oh, okay, cool. Hey, do you mind coming with me for a second?" And so we walked over, back over to like where the pit games were at, the table games, and sure enough, they'd shut down like one of the craps tables. And it only takes it really only takes 3 people to run a craps game, right? And we walk over and I show them these fucking 6 tables that are completely empty, playing these like worthless other games. And I go, "What about these people?" He's like, "Oh, they're not trained on how to play craps." I go, "Yeah, but the people that were here were trained. Why didn't you send a few of these knuckleheads home and keep the craps table going that was thriving?" He's like, "Well, we were able to squeeze everybody in." And it's like, if you look at the other 2,